So we're at DTW23 in Copenhagen. As usual, a lot of network operators, CSPs, DSPs here talking about their plans focused around what they're doing more in the IT and back office side of things, but how that impacts their businesses and what the rest of their operations can do. And of course, this event is organized by the TM Forum, which is a pretty strong player in terms of helping the operators to go in certain directions, especially as they move toward cloud-native horizontal platforms and upgrading their IT systems to become more agile, a word we've been hearing about for many years now. And part of what the TM Forum has been doing is around a thing called ODA, and I'm here with Andy Tiller, who is one of the key people at TM Forum in terms of pushing the whole ODA processes and practice, if you like. So, Andy, tell us a little bit about ODA and what has been talked about here at DTW23 around the ODA subject.
Sure, thank you, Ray. So, ODA is the Open Digital Architecture. It's an enterprise architecture blueprint to help the whole industry to move to cloud-native technologies together in the same way. So it's defining standards for what we call the ODA components and the canvas. It's a bit like defining the plugs in sockets, so making sure that the plugs, the software applications which are created by our vendor members, plug into a standard socket in all of the operator environments. So the operators and our hyperscaler members are building the canvas, our software vendor members are building the plugs, the components, and our aim is to create a plug-and-play software environment. That's the ultimate goal of the Open Digital Architecture.
And operators are supporting this and going down the route of actually building their IT systems on the ODA blueprint, is that right?
They absolutely are, yes. So we have many operator members who are now beginning to really put ODA to use in their live network environments. Today we announced 5 operators that we've awarded the status of running on ODA. So this is a program we run by our CTO office, and it's a program which acknowledges the members which are really putting ODA to good use in practice and also contributing very strongly to its development. It's a formal assessment, so it's not easy to achieve running on ODA status. Yeah. We announced 4 operators previously. 5 more members are running on ODA that have been announced here at the show. That's really the tip of the iceberg. We're working with a lot more members who are working towards running on ODA. Currently, we're working with 21 others that are on the journey. So ODA is really beginning to have an impact on our operator members.
And we're not talking about like the tier 4 operator in Albania here. We're talking about big names in the industry, right?
Absolutely, yep. So, it's the big names, as you'd expect. So here we have Deutsche Telekom, we have Telia, we have Telstra in Australia. Big name organizations. We've had Vodafone, we've had Jio in India, global coverage. So the ODA is a global standard. It's something that's being adopted worldwide across America, Europe, Asia, and it's becoming very well established now.
It's not just about the operators, though, is it? It's about the vendors have to be playing their part as well and developing the technologies, like you said, so that their plugs fit into the operator sockets. Yes. And you're starting to identify the vendors that make the cut, right?
We are. So running on ODA is a program we've been running for a couple of years now. Ready for ODA is a new program which is the equivalent for our vendor members. So it's similar in that we're looking for the members that are making very effective use of ODA. So for example, they're certifying their open APIs. They are adopting the ODA blueprint for their technology roadmaps, and also contributing to the development of the standards. We're working very actively at the moment on conformance. How will that work for the plugs in the sockets? Okay. And so today we've been announcing 8 of our vendor members have achieved this status of ready for ODA. We do it at the product level, not at the company level. So it's an acknowledgement of that we can see that these products have been designed based on the ODA architecture principles, adopting the ODA standards, the open APIs and components, and with a roadmap commitment to support it.
Okay. And so in theory, that should give those vendors with those products an advantage with the operators that are deploying that are using the ODA blueprint, right?
Absolutely. And, in TM Forum, our role is to kind of, in the early stages of standardization, it's hard work for everybody. And so it's right that the companies that are contributing the most and committing the most to that get as much competitive advantage as they can out of it. And we have no shame in, promoting the success of the companies that are really doing that.
And the hyperscalers are involved here as well in sort of helping to lay the horizontal platform that's needed?
Absolutely. One of the big themes of the show is the migration of the IT and network workloads onto public cloud environments. And the big public cloud providers are all showcasing here their ODA canvases. So they are, they have an out-of-the-box environment which their operator members, customers can use to accelerate the adoption of ODA. And so you'll see demonstrations from Google and Microsoft, from AWS, from Oracle. China Mobile in their big public cloud in China has also been working with their canvas. So it's becoming widespread amongst the hyperscale providers as well as the software vendors and the operators.
Now, here at the show in general, of course, if you talk to anybody and they don't mention AI, you might wonder, what the hell are they doing here and who else have they been talking to? So, I mean, this is obviously the big topic at the moment, but, is this just a massive hype, the whole talk about the use of Gen AI in the telecom sector? Are we just heading for an incredibly deep trough of disillusionment, or is there some substance to what companies and people are talking about here?
I think there is some substance. The rate at which the world has adopted Gen AI into useful applications, we can see it here in the telecoms industry as well. I was just looking at a demonstration on the far end of the TM Forum stand. Microsoft is showing the use of Gen AI to write the code that creates TM Forum APIs, cutting out a massive amount of work for our members as they try to implement TM Forum standards. So, this is genuine. You can see it working live. There's applications of AI in particular to autonomous networks. Obviously, a big area here is to make the network run itself, eliminate the very high overhead of network operations. That, I think, is really becoming quite advanced now. Many operators now are looking to try and figure out where they are compared to all of their peers. TM Forum has defined a number of levels of automation and the adoption of AI in the network, and many operators are using that as a benchmark scale, saying, we're looking to be at level 4, which is where we introduce intent-based automation, and targeting that for the next year or two.
So, here at a show like this, there's quite a few thousand people here. One of the most important things here, apart from doing business, is making sure you can get hold of a decent drink, whether that's a hot drink or a cold drink. As ever, great coffee, absolutely vital to what goes on here. Where's the best coffee you've had so far?
Well, you've just advised me, Ray, that I need to go to the press centre for the best coffee.
Near the press centre.
Our press members with the best coffee. So.
Where's the best coffee you've had, though?
Well, I had a very nice coffee at the Nokia stand. Nokia is sponsoring the main coffee station here, and it was very tasty coffee. I had to queue up twice because by the time I got to the front of the queue, I had to go off to a meeting. So I abandoned first trip, went back for a second, and it was worth it.
Okay. Right, but the big takeaway for me is that more companies should have baristas on their stands here so that nobody ever has to queue for too long to get coffee.
Absolutely, and the press should be first in line.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, great to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ray.